Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady checking in with a weekly garden tour as we count down the days to the official start of winter with the solstice coming up on Thursday. Now, I don't have to confess this, you know if you watch my videos. I love long days, so the winter solstice is a really special holiday for me. It's, marks the change where we start to have a gradual increase in day length. I have a weird relationship with the summer solstice because that is the anniversary of my first catastrophic house flood that happened in 2010. And so it's hard to acknowledge that date and not also have this, horrible memory. Also, summer solstice, the days start getting shorter, and I don't like that. So winter solstice for me is the absolute real reason for the season, quite literally, because it marks the change of our celestial seasons. And, well, I'm very excited for it, in case you can't tell. So anyhow, I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to do the rest of the garden tour, showing you everything that's going on out front. And well, I have a big to-do list and I have a lot of ambition to get quite a bit accomplished today. So without further ado, let's move out front. Well, first I'm going to start here at the south border. This is also a top priority on my list, just to do cutbacks. The the papyrus that's growing here in this sunken pond needs to be cut back. I'd like to dig out a lot of this white star grass because it's kind of an invasive-ish plant. I want to cut down the cufia. I want to cut down the justicia. I need to divide the garlics that obviously that's where the edge used to be. Just to give everybody an idea. That used to be the edge, and now the edge has moved a few inches. It happens in a garden. And just really want to get this bed cleaned up. Of course, it's right here at my kitchen door. I walk in and out every day, and I want this to be clean once and for all. I'm gonna do a container video so you can see all of the containers that are growing everywhere, but obviously here in the driveway, everything's looking great. And as we move across the front porch, I still have pumpkins and squash to eat. We have about 6 holiday meals to prepare, and I'm going to be using these in those. And there's little babe, everybody. There's Ava Grace in her little hidden cat bed. And of course, I'm really pleased with the germination of everything out here. We also did this seeding during our seed sale and cottage garden demo back in the middle of November. And there's a lot of good and bad germinating here. I'm going to do a separate video just on seedling ID to really help make it super obvious for everybody. And I'm pleased to see that these broccolis are finally starting to head. These were planted early and I transplanted them over to this corner just so they wouldn't be in the way of getting the rest of the bed planted. And well, again, you can see good ground plane coverage, lots and lots and stuff germinating, great diversity. I see a lot of bachelor buttons in there and California poppies, and of course this is all part of the spicy mixed greens. So progress continues. Of course, you can see the clumps of grains. We did wheat and barley, and then lots and lots of poppies in the back of the bed. So this is going to be amazing. I promise you, this is the last time that you will see the wave in this condition. I am getting this accomplished. I am ashamed that I have let it be this way for so long, but well, I'm gonna get it done. Lots of problem plants growing out here, a ton of vetch. And that's what all this green is. It's such a nightmarish plant. But I think I'm gonna be able to disturb the soil enough and, weed it really thoroughly to get it out. We have some oats that did self-sow from last season. And look, this one already has gone to seed, which is quite nice. I'm gonna basically kill back everything and like, you know, just pull out all the summer annuals like these cosmos. But believe it or not, stupid fire ants just never stop. They are still active. Look at that. So I still have to put out fire ant bait. I cannot believe it. These doggone things. Well, you can see the mums are finished and they need to be mown down. And of course, school gets out on Wednesday. We have nice forecasts, so I will be putting Aiden and Abby to work in the garden. And we'll basically just mow down all of the space in between the shrubs and let that organic matter break down in place. We will do the same out here in this bed near the road where we've got, you know, mums and ornamental grasses and phlox, and it'll look a lot better with all of that stuff just, you know, mown down to the ground. And it won't take any time at all, but it'll make a big difference visually. And I'd like to have this stuff done before we have all of our holiday visitors. It's because, you know, it makes the garden look more intentional. And that's, of course, always my goal. So another tree that's often in full bloom right now that's a little behind but has tons of buds is this winter blooming cherry. This is Prunus subhirtilla variety autumnalis rosea. And it's another great plant, just like that Jasminum nudiflorum, that you can bring branches in and force them into bloom inside your house. So this is one that I often have on the table for the holidays. And as we come along this side, lots of just some really simple cutbacks. In fact, these hedychium are probably at the stage where they literally just pull right off. So I'm just gonna come out and do it. I know I've had some problem plants established in here in the past, and I see a little bit of Velcro weed. So I do want to go ahead and get that taken care of now while it's small. That's really the lesson to be learned at this season. If you can get outside and even just spend a few minutes weeding out the problems. And as I'm saying that, I see the biggest problem of all time. And this had to have been deposited by a bird. There's its roots. That is ivy, English ivy. Oh my God. Under no circumstance is this allowed to grow in my garden. That is the worst plant to ever hit North America. Probably the biggest change from last week is that the Chinese fringe tree has kind of finished its fall color and dropped most of its leaves. Obviously, we haven't been out on the lawnmower to collect, but this is always one of the last trees to go deciduous, and the leaf litter is really appreciated in the garden. And I also wanted to show you that we've got some more camellia flowers in bloom. Of course, these have been nipped by the cold. This is October affair. Oh, if that one wasn't frosted in the middle, what a perfect flower. It's challenging. In the woodland edge, I think is more protected. Those plants tend to bloom more freely and don't get as frosted versus up here. You could see lots of flower buds, but hopefully they'll stay tight and won't bloom completely out. A lot of times this variety starts in October and it'll continuously flower through March. And it's almost Hellebore season. Now is a great time to get in here and cut back all the old leaves before the new growth really starts to emerge. It's a lot easier to cut these old leaves off early instead of waiting. And it's on my to-do list to try and get this task accomplished this week. And they look so much better when you do that. You know, I've already kind of missed the ideal stage because here you can see the new growth is pointing out, but there's no flower buds yet. So even if I were to cut some of those new leaves off, I'm at least not cutting flowers off. So more cutbacks to accomplish, but with a beautiful forecast like we have, this all feels not at all like a chore and really like a privilege. And back here at this barley that we planted really early, I thought, you know, at the rate it was growing that it might actually flower, but it's not flowering because the deer are eating it. You see, it's like perfectly mown. This is almost like a feed plot, an unintentional feed plot. However, it's doing its job and it's covering the ground, so there is no opportunity for problem plants to establish. And if you've been following me, you will remember this was a total border of ligustrum that we had removed and stump ground back in July. And so the reason that I wanted to do a barley cover was just to prevent any problem plants from establishing. And I think we've accomplished that. The contrast to that is that we have definitely created a fabulous environment for all the deer to hang out. And because of the new fence, they, you know, don't go into that yard at all. And so our deer pressure is significantly heavier than it's ever been. And I have to change some habits to be able to accommodate the amount of browse that we're experiencing. And I'm really pleased with all the germination here along the fence line. We did this during the seed sale and cottage gardening demo. I'll get up close and personal in here as I post some seedling ID videos, but you can get the idea of the ground plane coverage that we have achieved with poppies and mixed greens. And this is going to be a really spectacular display. Everyone, I'm wishing you all the very best for the holidays, and I hope you get to have some time to spend out in your gardens, just to reflect with gratitude for all that the plants that we grow provide for us in our lives, whether it's edibles or ornamental plants that you can bring in and use in arrangements, or just to make your own garden look beautiful, or to create habitat for birds and other insects and animals that live in your environment. So I am endlessly grateful for all of you for tuning in and for your support and interest, and I sincerely look forward to sharing more updates right here from my Zone 8 garden in Central North Carolina. Happy holidays, everybody, and happy solstice.